Okay, so please open your math book on the page 60. Yesterday we were doing,
Page 60.
yes, yesterday we were doing page 60. We did the practice. We did the second property. So till now we have two
Yes.
properties. The first one, I'm not gonna remind you about them. You have to remind me about them. For the people, I said already that you have to study them. Okay, so we have two properties. They actually look alike. You're gonna think that they are the same, but they are not the same. Who can remind me about the two properties? Do you see the screen? I don't think so.
No.
No, not no,
No,
Miss
no,
Khaled,
we
I don't
cannot
wanna
see it.
show it now.
No,
Later I'm gonna show it.
me.
Can't see.
Enough, please. Okay, Laren, can you remind me about the two properties? Okay, so Laren,
Me.
Laren, do you hear me? Let me choose someone else.
My internet is like.
Okay,
Miss, can I answer?
someone else. Hassan, you answered yesterday. Let me choose someone else today.
Yes, I just joined. Did I miss something?
Ali, what?
I just joined. Did I miss something?
No, I'm just asking about the two properties. Can you remind us about the two properties that we take? Ali,
Okay. If
you
if
have to raise your voice
if two
because I
lines,
can't hear it.
yes, if two lines are perpendicular to the same line, they are parallel.
Excellent. This is the first one. So if two lines are perpendicular to the same third line, then they are parallel. The second one, ya Ali.
Yes, miss.
Okay,
There was
thank you,
nothing for
Ali.
me
Let
to open.
Laren answer it. Thank you, Ali. Laren, you need to
Yeah.
remind us about the two properties that we talked about them yesterday. The first one,
Yes.
Ali remind us about, which is if two lines are
Re-
perpendicular to the same line, then they are parallel. Now you
yes.
have to remind me about the
The
second.
second is if two lines are parallel, so the second is perpendicular.
I didn't understand. What? If two lines are parallel, okay, it's a given. They gave us this information that two lines are parallel. Then if one line is هلا بدنا نحكي عن third line. اجا third line and it's how on the two lines?
What?
Yes, this third line.
Perpendicular.
If the third line is perpendicular to one of them, then it is what?
Parallel.
Wait a second. Laren, I'm not talking
Yeah.
about the first properties which tell us if they are two perpendicular to the same third line, then they are parallel. No, we are talking about the second properties that we talked about yesterday. If two lines are
Yes.
parallel, then if one line is perpendicular to one of them, then it is
Perpendicular, sorry.
perpendicular to the other one. Repeat it.
Yeah. If two lines are
I can't see
parallel
again.
to the
Parallel to
line
each other.
to
Okay.
each other, um,
Laren, you have to imagine what you are talking about. If two lines are parallel, خلصنا منهم. They are parallel together. Then
yeah,
if a third line came and it's perpendicular to
it's
one of them,
perpendicular to the line, so they are perpendicular. So it's perpendicular.
it's when if it is perpendicular to one of them, then it is perpendicular to the other one. That's it. Okay, Laren, is it clear?
Yeah, I will repeat it. If two lines are parallel to each other, then one line is perpendicular to line, then it is perpendicular to each
To the other.
to the
Laren?
other.
Okay, Laren, I'm gonna show you what I'm saying لحتى ما بقى تنسي. This is لا what I am opening. 1 minute. Okay, Laren. Look what we are explaining.
Yeah.
If we have two lines parallel, okay? This is what I'm saying. If two lines are parallel, then if the third line, we have a third line. If it is perpendicular to one of them, then if we elongate it, it's also perpendicular to the other one. That's it. No, I'm not
Yeah.
talking about them. هن خلص, they are parallel. We are talking about this line that came. It's perpendicular to one, then it is perpendicular also to the other one. Okay?
Yes, I just been confused.
I know. It's confusing to explain it. It's okay. Yeah. Who can repeat the two properties for us? Malak
Miss,
Zaitir,
can I do?
Malak Zaitir,
Do
can
I
you
repeat it?
wait a second? I'm asking Malak. Malak,
Yes, miss.
can you repeat the two properties? It's okay, ya Malak. Yalla, unmute yourself. Fine if we have
Yes,
some
miss.
noise. Yalla, say it. Did you study the properties? The two main points?
Yes.
Yalla, say them for me.
If two lines are parallel, then
Malak,
every
we
line.
don't read them, please. You have to say it for me if you understand them. Don't read them. No need to read them. Say it as you want. Yalla.
If
Here.
the two lines like they're parallel, like every line that is perpendicular, it's also perpendicular from the other.
Bravo. Thank you, ya Malak. Pia,
Miss,
can you
can I
tell
say?
Pia, can you tell me the other one? Unmute.
Yeah, miss.
Yalla, Miss, she told us about the second property. Can you tell us about the first property? Yani, if two lines are perpendicular to one same line, they are how?
If what?
If two lines are perpendicular to the same third line, then they are
Parallel.
Luna. She's gonna answer. شو يا Pia? Pia ركزي, okay? If you have two lines that they are perpendicular to the same third line, then they are how? These two lines.
Two parallel lines.
They are parallel. Okay, thank you. Type everyone. So these are the two properties you have to keep on studying every day. Selena, repeat them for us because
Yes, thank you. The two?
the two. Yeah,
Okay. Two lines that are perpendicular to the same line are parallel. That's the
excellent.
first one. The second one, if two lines are parallel, then every line perpendicular to one is also perpendicular to the other.
Excellent, yeah, Selena. Bravo. So HORL two
Thank you.
properties, we're gonna be needing them in the exercises, okay? We're gonna use them to, يعني to, if they ask us about because, why, we can say this is the reason why these are parallel, why these, or prove that this one is parallel, prove that those are perpendicular. You can use these properties to prove that some lines are parallel, some lines are perpendicular, etc. Now we're gonna go to the part F or to the activity F, lines parallel to the same line. Let us do this activity to know this third property. Look,
Which page?
page 60.
Okay. Yes.
Page 60, everyone. Exercise part
Activity
F.
F.
Activity F.
Yes.
Yeah. In the adjacent labeled figure, we have always when they give you these informations in the exercise, always in the geometry, they start by giving you some informations. those information are actually called given. It means that those information are given. I can use them to prove some things. Okay, so I can take them as given. Even so, also the figure is actually a given thing. Yani when they draw for you this and this and this, it's a given thing that those are perpendicular. So I can take it as a given from the exercise. No need to prove that they are perpendicular. I can say that those are perpendicular because they said so, because they said for us it's a given thing. It's an information they told us about in the exercise. So here in this exercise, they are giving us these information that D1 and D are parallel. So if I tell you, how did you know they are parallel? You can say for me, it's given. They said for us they are parallel. No need to prove that. I don't say because if I elongate it, they will never meet, etc. No. So I can say that these are parallel because they gave us as given. Also, they said that D2 and D are also parallel. كمان هيدا it's another given that they gave us in this exercise. What is the relative position of xy with respect to uv? xy with respect to uv. يعني xy and uv, how are they? And of course, we need to justify that. How did we know? If I want to say that xy and uv, how are they? We need to justify. If you have to use a property, you have to say it. Okay? If you want to prove what? طيب. Yusuf Mansour, please unmute yourself. Yusuf, are you here?
Miss, he left.
He left. طيب. Jad Sawan, are you here? Open your cameras, everyone. Jad, I said already yesterday for the people who's closing their camera who do not answer, I'm gonna consider like you are absent, okay? Because we take presence every time. It's like you are not here. No camera.
Miss, I can't.
Yusuf, are you still here?
Miss, I can't open camera.
You can't what? مين عم يحكي أصلا؟
Manessa is talking.
Why you Manasta? طيب. Emma Rose. يعني Emma, Jad, Yusuf, no answer. Yusuf, are you here? Can you unmute yourself?
Yes, miss.
Yusuf, what is the
Yes.
relative position of xy and uv? Justify. What can you say about xy and uv? How are they?
XY and UV. They are parallel
How did you know that they are parallel?
because they are like in the this like when they're two lines, yes, and they're equal to each other, but in
Yusuf, did you listen for us when we were talking about the properties? يعني how to prove that parallel lines, the two lines are parallel. Which properties can we use?
miss, not all because the internet is bad.
Okay, but today the internet is bad. But this property, we talked about it before, not today. We said that when two lines are perpendicular to the same third line, then they are parallel between each other. Can you say that x, y, and uv are perpendicular to the same line? And xy is perpendicular to a line and uv is perpendicular to this same line. Can you say that from the figure? Look at the figure. What can you say about xy? It's perpendicular with which line? xy.
With XY with the VU. لا مش perpendicular. It's with D.
It's perpendicular with D. طيب و UV isn't perpendicular also with D?
Yes.
Yes. So XY and UV, both of them, they are perpendicular to the same line, which is D. And this is a property, this is a rule. When two lines that are perpendicular to the same line,
Yes.
then we can say that they are parallel between each other without saying anything else. Okay? Is it clear?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so
Yes.
we're gonna write the following, everyone.
Yeah.
XY and UV are parallel because they are here I'll be writing the property one because they are perpendicular to the same line D. How did I know that they are perpendicular to D? It's given. How did I know it's given? From the photo here, from the picture, from the figure. Because they put for me 90 degree here and 90 degree here, which means they give us this information that they are perpendicular. So they are parallel because they are perpendicular to the same line D. One, I'm gonna put in, I'm gonna tell them how did I know? Given from the figures. Okay? طيب هلا صرت
Miss, do we write it?
Yes, of course. هلا here I
But
have
it will
just
not set. Miss, I should write given from the figure.
yes. Always
Okay.
we have to tell them from where did we get this information? How did we know they are perpendicular? You have to tell them from where did you get it? From the figure. Because they put for us 90 degree. If you don't have a space, it's okay. Write on the white space or write
Okay.
here and put an arrow, whatever. Just do it in a way. But we have to write all of this.
I do like
Miss,
Yes, miss.
I can't open camera because the internet connection is not good.
Okay, fine. For the people who have a reason, it's just tell me the reason, no problem. But just let me know that you are present here.
Miss?
Okay.
No, but I'm participating with you.
Okay. هلا second يلا 1 minute for everyone but second
I want to ask a question. I
who
want to
wants
ask you
to
a
ask me a
question.
question?
Me, Selena.
Yeah, Selena.
That you said that okay, XY and UV are parallel. I want to write because they are perpendicular to the same line D. But you say that you want like XY and UV. How did you know that they are parallel? From the figure and from the adjacent label figure. And D and D1 and D are parallel. We should write because they are perpendicular to the same line, D.
Awashi, they didn't say for us in the figure that they are parallel. It's not given. We have to prove it. They didn't say for us, I can't say for them X, Y, and UV are parallel because of the figure. Because in the figure, nothing show us that they are parallel. They didn't put any symbol that show us that they are parallel. They didn't say for
But in
us,
the figure, yes, but in the figure they are parallel.
they look
X1 and
like
UV are
they
parallel.
look like they are
No.
parallel, but there's nothing that
Yes.
proves that. You have to elongate them. You have to see if they are actually parallel or no. If you look like هيدا منه شيء given from the figure. It look like you have to prove that. But if they give you some symbol, it means that they are
Yes.
giving you this information. They gave you the symbol of 90 degree here, so they proved for you that they are perpendicular. Sometimes they will give you these two lines like that. Let me show you. If they give you two lines like that,
Yes.
okay, if they give you two lines just like that, you're gonna say that they look like perpendicular, but I cannot prove that they are perpendicular from the figure because they didn't put for you the 90 degree symbol. Yani they didn't
Yes.
prove for
Okay.
you that they are perpendicular. Here, the
But
parallel,
here they prove they are parallel and perpendicular from the 90 degree, and also X, Y, and UV. Also, if I elongate them, they will give me parallel.
Haida,
The
you are
same.
proving. Here you are proving, but they didn't prove that for
Yes.
you in the figure. They didn't prove it for you. You can't say that it's given. You can't say that X, Y, and UV are parallel given from the figure. No. They look like from the figure,
But
but
I
they
prove
didn't
it to
put for you
myself.
any symbol that proves that. Okay? They have to show you something
Okay.
like symbol in the figure that show you to say that they are given. If they didn't, so you have to prove it. And how did we
But then
prove
if
it? By
they,
using the property.
but if they write in the adjacent label figure we have XY parallel to UV, I don't want. Can I write XY and UV are
Akid.
parallel
And then you can,
without
and then no
because
need to
they
prove
are
that, of
perpendicular?
course. Then no need to prove anything. You just tell them that they are parallel because it's given
From the
only.
figure.
Not from the figure, from the given of the
From
information
the
of the
adjacent label
exercise.
figure.
It's just given. You just write
Yes.
given. But if they didn't wrote it for you, but it's showing on the figure, so you have to say given from the figure. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
Welcome. طيب. Let's see the Batul. Miss, I can't open because my... Okay, Batul. Yeah. Let's see the second question. Justify, and when they say justify, it means you have to prove that by tell them some information. Justify that D2 is perpendicular to XY. هلا أنا I wrote on the figure so I can see really well. So they said to justify that D2 is perpendicular to XY. As you can see here, D2 and XY, they are saying to justify. شفتي يا Selena here, D2 and XY, they didn't put for you any symbol that show you that they are perpendicular. You need to prove that they are perpendicular. How can you prove now that XY and D2 are perpendicular? Who knows?
You are asking me?
No. Zahra Nasrallah?
Yes, we have to say the property
Yeah,
of
which property?
okay. If two lines are parallel, then every line perpendicular to the other, to the first is perpendicular to the other.
Bravo. Which line is perpendicular to one and it's perpendicular to the other? About what I are talking?
What?
On which line are you talking?
What?
On which line are you talking here in the figure?
Okay. We have D. Wait. We have D2 perpendicular to XY. Here we have
D2
wait.
perpendicular to XY. You have to prove that D2 is
No, I'm
perpendicular.
reading.
Ah,
Yes.
okay.
Wait.
يا زهراء. وينك زهراء? Did you go? علي طوز. يلا يا علي, tell me what you wanted to say.
That D is also is perpendicular to XY, and D2 is on the same line of UV, which D is perpendicular to also.
هلا هنا they
Miss
are
Wait,
asking me, Ali, they are asking me about which lines in the question.
About D2
D2 and what? And XY, right?
and XY.
Okay,
Yes.
everyone, I need you just to put this on your because they forgot to put this one. Okay, I need you to put this one on your figure to show us that D2 is actually perpendicular to UV.
Miss Zainab, my internet is not good.
Who's that? Okay, you can watch the record later on. طيب. هلا هنا they gave us in the خلينا let us think about everything that they gave us, everything that we are going to show. They gave us the D1 and let me just erase. Can I erase what I wrote in the first question? Did you finish it? Because it's on the figure. Can I erase it?
yes,
Yes.
I think
Okay.
Yes.
Let me reopen.
everyone can.
Yeah. Okay. So here's I'm gonna reread what we did and what we have. So we have D1 and D, they are parallel, okay? D2 and D are also parallel, okay? طيب أول شيء we proved that XY and UV are parallel. How did we prove that they are parallel? Because they are
Miss, can you
perpendicular.
repeat? Because I can't listen you very well.
Okay,
Can you
Selena, I'm
repeat
just
it, please?
repeating what we did. I'm not saying anything new. So I'm gonna repeat what we did. They gave us as a given that D1 and D are parallel. So these are parallel together. This is the symbol of parallel. They gave it to us. Also that, this is the symbol. I'm gonna put this symbol. This symbol, everyone, is the symbol of parallel. Since they gave us that D1 and D are parallel, I'm gonna put the symbol. And also they said for us that D2 is parallel to D. So D2 is also parallel to D. Okay? Here, as you can see, D2 is parallel to D. What is the relative
Miss,
position of
I
XY
want
with
to tell you
respect to
something.
UV? We said that XY and UV are parallel because they are perpendicular to the same line D. This is shown already. Now we have to justify that D2 is perpendicular to XY. How can we justify that D2 is perpendicular to XY? Someone told me that we can use the property that if two lines are parallel, XY and UV, then every line that is perpendicular to one is also perpendicular to the other one. But D2 is actually, they didn't say that it is perpendicular to UV. Okay, هلا هي it look like it is perpendicular to UV. Can someone tell me how can I prove that D2 is actually also perpendicular to UV? Noor?
Okay. You mean if UV is also perpendicular to XY?
No, I mean how can we prove that D2 is perpendicular to UV حتى نرجع نقول إنه it's perpendicular to XY. How can I say that D2 is perpendicular to UV? نحن معنا already إنه D2 and D they are what? They are parallel as given. And UV is
Yes.
perpendicular to D. Isn't also perpendicular to D2? Can I say that it's
Yes.
also perpendicular to D2? Why? Because it's a
No,
property.
D2 is not perpendicular to D or UV.
It's not D2 is not perpendicular to UV.
Yes, it forms a right angle.
Yeah, it forms a right angle, but how can I say so? How can you prove that it forms a right angle? I said we have to use the property. Which property? The second one. Since D,
If two lines, can I answer?
wait a second.
If D is parallel, no, if D is perpendicular to UV,
Okay.
then D2 is also perpendicular to UV.
Because D and D2 are parallel.
Yes.
Why did I know? How did I know they are parallel? From the given up. هن قالوا لنا إنه D2 and D they are parallel. أرجع أعيد. D
If
and
D,
D2 they are parallel, right?
yes,
And UV is
like if
perpendicular to D, it's given. هي هون حاطينها هنا 90 degree. Then of course UV is also perpendicular to which line? D.
it's also perpendicular to UV since D2, if like we had to say if two lines are parallel to the same line, then they are perpendicular.
It's not like that we say it. We say if two lines are parallel, then the third line then every line that is perpendicular to one is also perpendicular to the other one. This one.
The other.
Okay.
Yes.
So هيك نحن we proved that D2 is perpendicular to UV. طيب isn't also perpendicular to XY if I elongate it?
Yes.
Yes. If we elongate, yes, it's perpendicular.
Because XY and UV are how?
Are parallel.
Since XY and UV are parallel, then D2, if it's perpendicular to UV, if I elongate it, it will be also perpendicular to which line?
Perpendicular to XY.
Excellent.
XY.
Let me just repeat it fast for everyone, and then we will write it. هلا, you will say that you don't have a space. If you want to write it on a copybook, you can, okay? If you want to write it here in the white also, you can. So let me repeat it for you. أول شيء we have to prove that, okay, we have to prove that D2 is perpendicular to UV. هون يا Selena, this is what you said for me. They look like they are perpendicular, but they didn't put here
Yes.
the sign of 90 degree. So I have to prove that. How
Yes.
can I prove that D2 is perpendicular to UV? I said that,
I want to say the properties.
yes. Which property? Since D and D2 are parallel, since D and D2 are parallel, then
These two are
every
parallel
perpendicular
and
to one
every
is also
perpendicular
perpendicular to the other. So
the
that's
other.
why D2 is perpendicular to UV or UV is perpendicular to D2. So here I can put the 90 degree. Okay. صار عندنا إنه D2 is perpendicular to UV. خلصنا منه. Now we have
Yes.
to prove that it's also perpendicular to XY.
To
How can I
XY.
prove that? Since
Can I say
XY
it?
and UV are parallel,
They
already
are
proved that,
parallel.
then
Yes.
every
Then
perpendicular to one, which is
every
D2,
one is also perpendicular to the
to the
other.
other. طيب خلونا نكتبها هون. We have time. Okay, we have to write it. Start writing it
But
with
how
me.
much? We still have time.
But we will, yeah, Jad, you are talking and you are unmuted. Mute yourself, unmuted. Yeah, you don't have a space to write it here. You can write it on a draft paper or here on the white. I'm gonna be writing it. Yeah, let's do it together. So we're gonna say first.
Miss, we still have time to do the deduce.
No, maybe no. هلا خلينا let's write this. If we didn't, we will do it later. Yeah, we will say that since D1 parallel, sorry, D2 parallel to D given, هيدي given from the text up, so we're just gonna write given.
Miss, are you writing? For me, it's not
Yes,
like
it's not.
saying what you're
She's
writing.
not writing on the line. She's writing next to the white one.
Yes,
Next
I'm
to the
writing here
figure.
because I don't have a
Oh.
space. Okay, so since D2 parallel to D given and UV UV perpendicular, we have to put the symbol, and UV perpendicular to D, هيدي given from the figure. Okay, we're gonna say then UV is also perpendicular to D2. Why? It's our rule. We're gonna write it for them. Perpendicular to D2 because if two lines are parallel, then every perpendicular, then every line.
Miss, the line down, the paragraph down, we're continuing or another one?
Continue. Then every line perpendicular to one is also perpendicular to the other one. Okay. So this one, we proved that D2 is perpendicular to UV. Who's that? Let me write it and then I will re-explain. Let me write it and then I will re-explain. So I'm writing this. We didn't finish not yet. Hala, we're gonna continue writing. So now we proved that D2 is perpendicular to UV. Now we have to prove that it's also perpendicular to XY. Hala, we're gonna say, since XY and UV are parallel, we're gonna put here, since UXY and XY parallel to UV, هيدي already proved or already shown, we can say. How did I show that? I show it in the first part, okay?
Miss, this is the answer of
Part 2.
the third question,
The second question.
or part
All
2
of this
also.
is for the second question.
Okay.
Okay, so since xy parallel to uv already shown, and d2 perpendicular.
Miss, you wrote two ands.
Okay, remove one of them. D2 perpendicular to which one? To UV. Kaman, this one is already shown.
the same answer.
Yes,
We still in justify
yes,
then.
yes. Already shown. So, D2 perpendicular to XY also. هيدي كمان second property. To XY.
Miss,
Because,
all of these are for 2.
yes, because every, because
Miss, it
if
can't fit.
two lines are,
Miss, the second one is for the second one that deduce that D1 parallel to D2.
yes. Miss لا هيدا deduce بعد ما عملنا. Everything I'm writing is just for the second question. Okay?
ما بتساعة على الكتاب.
I said already إنه ما حتساعوا do it on a copybook. Maybe you didn't listen to me. You didn't hear me. Do it on a draft paper. Okay, so because if two lines are parallel, then every line perpendicular to one of them is also perpendicular to the other. So this is following the.
Finish.
هلا I'm gonna repeat. I still have less than 1